maybe, just maybe, I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe, just maybe, I'm being a bit hypocritical in doing this. We have generated cash of 3974 from our operating activities. So we've generated cash of 3974 from our operating activities. In our investing activities, we're spending money. And we are spending 3333. And in our financing activities, we're also spending money. And we are spending 357. So, here we go. Here we go. This is the big one. Here we go. I've started with operating cash flow of 3974. Of the 3974, I have spent 3333 in investing activities. I have then also spent 357 in financing activities, leaving me with 284. Yay. The cash flow is set to balance. And it will only balance because of the impairment loss that we put in, yeah, which, you know, would be very, very easy to miss. Do not do this in the exam. In the old days, and I mean last year, in the old days, there would only be 2 exam sittings a year. So I would stand up here in the December and I would say, okay, what came up last time was, let's not worry about that. Cash flow came up in June. Cash flow came up in June exam. I tipped it, it was ripe, it was ready, it came up, it was fantastic, and it came up in June. Now, in September, it was never ever going to happen. So, teaching I did, the revision I did for September, I didn't even talk about cash flow for September, I just absolutely cut it out. My compromise is this. We have spent the afternoon on cash flow. We have taken it seriously, we've looked at the format, we've looked at the theory, we've looked at the number crunching, we've done a big question. When I come back on revision, we are at the end of the month. When I come back on revision, I won't do cash flow. Yeah, I'm with you for 2.5 days. I'll do a P&L, we'll do a couple of balance sheets, but I won't do a cash flow. I will take that risk. I am telling you this in an open and transparent way because you will need to look at cash flow again, but I'm not going to devote contact time to looking at cash flow. So far as I am concerned, for December, genuinely, cash flow is going. Now, revision. Were you able to collect the revision material from Auntie? Yes. I hope so. Can you show me, can I just have a quick look at the revision material? Just give me a prompt. I love revision. I think revision, I know when I was a student, there were most of my exam papers I would have failed had I not done revision. Because what revision did for me, was pull things together in an exam context. And particularly with P2, I do tend to teach you, we've got another 5 minutes, don't pack up yet guys. What particularly happens with P2 is I teach you in silos. I teach you in kind of, thing. But what happens in the exam is you're examined across the whole syllabus. So cash flow is a great example there. In that question, there was a bit of deferred tax, there was a bit of pensions, there was a bit of exchange differences, all kicking off. In your revision material, there are some articles, and I would want you to effectively have read those articles before coming on revision. In your revision material, you've got a revision lecture sequence, and I want to avoid any doubt here. When it says key questions, that's what I'm doing in class. The key questions is what I am doing in class. So, we're going to do fair values, Yang on, we're going to do ethics, Western, we're going to do Sting, goodwill, we're going to do group accounts. These are the key questions that we're going to do in class. After revision, let me tell you what I will say to you and the wind-up of the revision session. After the revision, all you will do after the revision and before the exam is to revise your revision. Yeah? All you will be doing, all you will have time to do, all that it's appropriate to do, will be to go over again what we've done on the revision course. Yeah? Plus the mock exam. There won't be time to do anything else, because you've got to sleep. You've got to eat. You might even have to go to work. You might even have another exam paper. So, you are in the fortunate position, therefore, of being able to plan and prepare for the revision course. Imagine the revision course is the exam. Get yourself in a state of preparation for the revision course, as if it is the exam. Then we'll do the revision course together, and you will be so well prepared for the exam. And you can do that by looking at what is called the follow-up questions. So for you, these are the preparation questions. Yeah, you understand? So if you're wanting questions to have a look at Jayash, have a look at Alpha, have a look at Messi, have a look at Monday, have a look at Traveller, have a look at Mini, have a look at Warburg, have a look at Gas Nature, have a look at Kate, have a look at Ken Clean. Have a look at those questions. Have a look at the follow-up questions. The follow-up questions. The follow-up questions are your preparation questions. Revision is going to put it all together. Revision is going to make the difference. Revision is going to add a little bit of knowledge. It's going to add a little bit of technique. Yeah, but you're going to come to that revision course with a very strong base, because we have covered a lot of ground. We never cover everything. It's not physically possible to do absolutely everything. Yeah, but we have covered the core, we have covered the key areas, and I look forward. I look forward to coming back and doing the revision and helping you pass the P2 exam for December, because that is what it is all about. You want me to tell you the tips now? Yes. Do you know Viv Richards?
Yes,
If I said, yeah, cricketer, yeah. So Viv Richards is a cricketer, and he was quite an imposing man. He was quite, I won't say aggressive, but he had a manner. He had a sort of, authority about him. Intimidating, as some sportsmen have. That aggressive streak. And there was a journalist who, when Viv Richards was at the peak of his career, and you're playing cricket. And sometimes you're out, sometimes he said, the journalist said to Viv Richards, I saw you play that innings, you know, you were nearly out a couple of times. Do you think you're lucky? Do you think you're lucky? Do you think you're a lucky cricketer? Do you think you're lucky? And Viv Richards looked him in the eye like that, all right, stared him out and said, the more I practice, the luckier I get. Yeah? The more I practice, the luckier I get. There's a tip for you. Yeah? There's a tip for you. Yeah? The more you practice, the luckier you get. I think it will be balance sheets. I think it will be balance sheets, group balance sheets. Yeah? And a lot of those group balance sheet questions are fairly repetitive. Yeah, they hinge upon, you know, your net assets, your goodwill, your NCI. So have a look at those questions as well. In terms of the accounting standards, all over the place. Look, we did spend a lot of time on financial instruments, so make sure you have a look at financial instruments. I quite like deferred tax as well, but it's very difficult to tip the accounting standards. But try and for each standard, have at your fingertips some kind of simple definition, some kind of simple thing to say. What is an intangible asset? How do you account for a grant? How do you deal with an investment property? These things you must have at your fingertips. Yeah? So a little bit of rote learning is always going to be good. Question 4. I've got a scarily good record of predicting question 4. But this time, I don't feel it as strongly as I have in the past. I just don't. I don't feel it as strong. I don't feel the force in the same way. I knew it was leases last time. I just knew it was. I knew it was revenue. The time before that, I just knew it was. Yeah, I don't always get question 4 right. I just have been very lucky, as Viv Richards would say, in the last couple of dives. If you push me on one topic, I would say framework. I would say framework. Yeah? What is the framework? Why is it useful? It would be perhaps a very waffly question, but it is something the examiner has referred to in his exam reports. It is something that he does come back to. And it's not a very popular thing for me to stand up here and say framework, you know, because it's one of those dry areas. But I will look at framework again on the revision. Have a nice weekend.